more than 80 known indigenous groups all along Colombia, which speak around 60 different indigenous languages altogether. That means that, contrary to what many people may think, the indigenous population in the country is really big. The largest of these groups is the Payas. They live in the Indian reservations in the state of Cauca, where they do their farming. After the Payas, there is the second biggest indigenous people, the Wayu, a society of nomad shepherds located in Guajira, who make a living herding goats. These two groups, along with the Emberas and the Zenu, represent half of the indigenous population in Colombia. There have always been indigenous peoples in the plains of the Colombian Caribbean. A large number of communities that shared some cultural features among them lived in the valleys of the Sinu, San Jorge, Lower Cauca, and the Necha River. Since ancient times, these peoples have had several similarities in their artistic expressions as well as in their concept of death and their relationship with the environment. Nowadays, these groups are known as the Zenu community. Choco and its river systems have been the home of the Eberas for centuries. These river systems and some parts of this region have been the root of many of their different dialects. Their name, Ebera, can refer to a person, man, or indigenous person in their language, depending on the context in which it is used. The people of the sun, sand, and wind, the Wayu, inhabit the Guajira Peninsula. Although many tourists visit them to learn about their exotic customs and buy their mochila bags, many of them only speak Wayunaiki, their native language, which has had little changes because they never encountered Spanish settlers. The Wayu culture remains largely intact. One of the most significant aspects of the Wayu is the art of weaving colorful mochila bags and their tradition of herding goats. The Tironas have inhabited the Sierra Nevada, a region of Colombia's Caribbean coast, for centuries. You can still easily find them in the lowlands and mountains in and around Tirona National Park. They're well recognized for their precious gold work and architecture, which brings a lot of tourists to the region. Today, they have become the origin of other indigenous groups like the Arhuaco, Wiwa, Kogi, and Cancuamo. Altogether, they reach about 30,000 people. Going to the Lost City, Ciudad Perdida, in the Sierra Nevada, people can be amazed by their sighting of ancient architectural relics of the Tirona's developed society. In spite of centuries of missionary influence, many of these indigenous peoples still keep a lot of their traditions and beliefs. The Payas, for example, still feel shuddered by Capish, the god of thunder, who has the power to turn those who don't listen to him into stone. They still keep many of their rituals to worship him and other gods. Likewise, the Tulis, who inhabit the Urabá Gulf and the Darien region, believe that the world was created by Paptamat. This god has a guard who always watches the people from a ship in the sun. This guard's name is Ibalo, and he always tells Paptamat whatever he thinks humans are doing wrong. Besides, the Tulas can also communicate with Paptamat through their spiritual leaders. The indigenous peoples of Colombia have also suffered poverty and the violence generated by the presence of armed groups in their lands. There's still much to do to recognize the great heritage we have received from our indigenous people and to give them the chance to enjoy their right to keep their customs and traditions.